The title of my talk is That None Shall Perish. True, it's easily recognized as a biblical verse, but it also describes the work that we do to reform STEM higher education in ways that foreground diversity and inclusion as necessary preconditions for achieving excellence in STEM. Currently, I am the Executive Director of Project Kaleidoscope and Vice President for Undergraduate STEM Education at the Association of American Colleges and Universities. Project Kaleidoscope, or PCAL as we often refer to it, is one of the leading national alliances that's dedicated to empowering STEM faculty to produce more graduates who are both competitively trained and liberally educated. It was founded in 1989 with generous funding from the National Science Foundation. And its initial focus was on what works in undergraduate STEM teaching. In 2010, Project Kaleidoscope merged with the Association of American Colleges and Universities and expanded its focus beyond what works to include for whom it works, how it works, and under what conditions does it work best. The issue of diversity is a problem for many. We consider it to be both an opportunity and a challenge, the opportunity challenge, if you will. Because indeed, if excellence requires diversity, then we cannot afford to exclude any sector of our society. Recent data, though, show us that even though students enter college fully intending to major in a STEM discipline, by graduation, we've lost about half of them. It is true that this phenomenon disproportionately impacts the representation of women and minorities in STEM, but it should also be pointed out that it impacts all of our students. Our colleague Stephanie Briggs continues to remind us that if we are going to change this phenomenon, something about us has to be different. To that end, our program, Teaching to Increase Diversity and Equity in STEM, or TIDES, focuses directly on faculty to empower them to be able to implement culturally responsive teaching strategies. With generous funding from the Helmsley Charitable Trust, they have used interdisciplinarity, specifically the interdisciplinarity between computer science and all other disciplines, whether non-STEM or STEM, to design and or redesign courses in ways that would lead to, perhaps impact, institutional change. And beyond the institution, to reach 100,000 STEM students across the country. Superimposed on that goal is a professional development intervention for STEM faculty that involves social science theory, culturally competent training, and mindfulness practice. Together, all of these elements of the professional development intervention spans 3 years. In year 1, we focused on exploration of social science research. We came to terms with our own implicit biases and how they were impacting, whether positively or negatively, our classroom behavior. In year 2, we did cultural competency training. We explored our differences, our misconceptions about each other, our frustrations. We cried and we yelled, we argued, we disagreed, and then we found peace. In year 3, we focused on mindfulness practice in undergraduate STEM teaching. We opened ourselves up to mindfulness as a way of circumventing or counteracting the negative influences that those behaviors that we do implicitly or without thinking can have on the outcome of a student in STEM. The question then becomes, is it working for us? And the answer, I think, would be yes. In terms of our results, not only did we reach 100,000 students across the country, we surpassed that goal by actually reaching nearly 300,000 students with our new culturally responsive approaches to STEM teaching at the undergraduate level. Secondly, we saw dramatic increases in STEM faculty self-efficacy, particularly in the implementation of culturally responsive pedagogies. We saw STEM faculty gain confidence about teaching students about their cultures and their culture's contributions to science. We saw STEM faculty increase their confidence in identifying solutions to problems that may arise as a result of diversity. And thirdly, and probably arguably most importantly, we came to know not just what our colleagues implemented in their classrooms, but also how they came to know what needed to be implemented in the first place. In this quote, Dr. Leor Shamir puts it like this: "It is very clear that there is no way we could have done it without Tides. The training and experiences we received through that brilliant program. That was a life-changing experience, and for the rest of my career, I will do everything in my power to make sure it changes as many lives as possible. Still, I am more grateful for what Tides did to me as a person than what it did for me as a professional." In conclusion, I just want to briefly acknowledge all of the 19 Tides institutions across the country, as well as the Tides faculty and all of the diverse STEM students that they served. And finally, I want to note that just as our colleague has said, something about us must be different. And indeed, something about us in Tides is different. Different in the way that we teach, different in the way that we interact with those who are not like us, and different in the way that we address the opportunity challenge of diversity in STEM. So we invite you to join us and even follow our progress on STEM Central as we continue to work to teach, lead, and know differently.